अब मैं आग्रह करूंगी हमारे संकाय अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर एस.के. मिश्रा जी से कि वे स्थापना दिवस समारोह के अवसर पर हमारे आज के वक्ता प्रोफेसर बलराम भार्गव जी का संक्षिप्त परिचय देने का कष्ट करें। प्रोफेसर बलराम भार्गव जी आज परोक्ष रूप से हमारे साथ हैं एवं जूम तकनीक के द्वारा अपना व्याख्यान देने को प्रस्तुत होंगे।
Dr. Balaram Bhargava, currently the Director General of Indian Council of Medical Research, from Secretary, Department of Health Research, Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Dr. Bhargava was born in Lucknow in 21st July 1961. He is an outstanding cardiologist, one of the foremost leaders in biomedical innovation, public health, medical education and medical research. He directs the School of International Biodesign at All Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, an interdisciplinary program to foster innovation and design of low-cost implants and devices, which has led to more than 30 patents on low-cost medical devices and a dozen startups. He developed the indigenous platinum iridium coil coronary stent and has been instrumental in clinically evaluating and establishing medicated Indian stents. He is an innovator par excellence, with innovations touching everyday lives with very huge social impact, for which he has started the Society of Less Investigative Medicine, SLIM. He is currently disease prevention, early detection and transport systems for sick cardiac patients, Mission Delhi, which stands for Delhi Emergency Life Heart Attack Initiative, by trained motorcycle fast response medical paramedics. Professor Bhargava has been awarded the S.N. Bose Centenary Award by the Indian National Science Congress, the National Academy of Science Platinum Jubilee Award, the Tata Innovation Fellowship, the Randaksha Award, O.P. Bhasin Award, Basdik Award, and more recently the UNESCO Equatorial Guinea Prix Life Sciences. Dr. Lee Jong-uk Memorial Prize for Public Health 2009 by WHO Headquarters Geneva. He is also a recipient of the Padma Shri Award. With that, I present you our today's orator, Dr. Balaram Bhargava.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for your very kind words. Honorable Shri Yogi Adityanath Ji, Chief Minister of the largest and the most populous state of India, the Director of the SGPGI, senior bureaucrats, senior ministers, ladies and gentlemen. I will be talking a little bit about the COVID pandemic and India's fight at the COVID pandemic and how India has done better than many countries and why we have done better than many countries and what has been the role of ICMR right from before the lockdown to during the lockdown, after the lockdown, and I will try to cover this all in 12 to 14 minutes. I'll start sharing my screen. Yes. So why COVID-19 pandemic in 2020? This century has witnessed several infections like SARS, MERS, Zika, Nipah. It is only because of the change in environment and ecology, rapid urbanization, extreme connectivity, people have been traveling to and fro, neglected public health spending, inadequate spending on health. And that is probably the most important lesson that we have learned from this pandemic, that public health spending has to be increased. And this has been brought out at the parliamentary committees, at the 15th Finance Commission, and also at the group of ministers, that the GDP on health spending as well as health research spending has to be increased to 2.5% of the GDP from 1%. This may happen maybe before, maybe by the 75th year of independence, but the initial target was up to 2025. So that will make a tremendous difference in our healthcare. Why we have done well in this pandemic? Because India is the largest democracy with respect to people's voices to recalibrate its interventions. It has been serious right from the beginning. From January 8th, we've constituted the Joint Monitoring Group, and since then, we haven't stopped even a single day. The Prime Minister created empowered groups, 11 empowered groups. The Cabinet Secretary took meetings every second day with all the secretaries, and it was a whole of government approach, calibrated, proactive, preempted, and a very graded response, which was science-driven with best practices and evidence-based. Most importantly, at the national level, we had a very strong leadership with excellent communication with all the states. There were meetings with chief ministers every 2 to 3 weeks. we continued with the 5T strategy of test, track, trace, technology, and treat. And we resisted the concept of herd immunity. We never believed in herd immunity, and we never faced the consequences of herd immunity, which countries like Sweden, United Kingdom, many parts of USA also faced when they started talking of herd immunity. So we have resisted that concept right from January, February till today. Now I will talk a little bit about testing, then a little bit about vaccine and some more. In terms of testing, in February, we had more than 6,000 Shia Kargil pilgrims stranded in Iran. 6-member team of ICMR was sent to set up a lab in Tehran. They tested 2,000 people, 15% positive from 5 cities in Iran. Special flights were arranged by Indian Air Force to repatriate these people from Iran, take them to Hindon Air Force Base, and then to Kargil, and also get people from Wuhan and Italy. These were all special flights of Indian Air Force that were working from February, March onwards. This is the NIV lab that was established in the embassy of the Tehran. Our concept was to establish a laboratory in every district. We had 14 mentoring institutes, and SGPGI was one of the mentoring institutes which helped us set up labs in different parts of the country. All state medical colleges and private medical colleges set up laboratories. So 650 out of 739 districts had laboratories, and we had labs in difficult terrains, in Northeast, in all the states of Northeast, in Kargil, in Ladakh, in Andaman Nicobar, and all the various difficult to reach areas. So vision was to set up a laboratory in every district. First phase was RT-PCR lab, but the second phase at the district level, we set up the molecular lab, which I will talk a little bit about, the TrueNat, and phase 3 was the rapid antigen test, which was the first time used in India in the month of June, and WHO pre-qualification happened in September, October. So we started using the rapid antigen test much earlier. We repurposed the TrueNat. The TrueNat is the platform for tuberculosis diagnosis. Because we have this platform which was made in India, pre-qualified by the WHO, tested by ICMR in various multi-country trials, published in Lancet, which clearly showed that this platform works for tuberculosis. We repurposed it in 2018-19 for Nipah, first time in the world. We also repurposed it for leptospirosis, first time in the world, and now we have used it for COVID-19 diagnosis. This is a point-of-care molecular test. We have 2530 true labs in the country, 1,008 sites in 530 districts. This lab we started in March, April, and we have tested more than 5% of the tests by this TrueNat platform. A similar molecular diagnostic test was established in the United Kingdom in the month of October called DNA Nudge, and they have just set up a few laboratories with this lab. But we were far ahead. We had this laboratory in the suitcase, and this was WHO approved, and we've been using this. We set up high throughput laboratories at various parts of the country, north, south, east, west, central, and we set up an assembly line of 12 RT-PCR machines at the NICPR Noida with a capacity of 15,000 tests per day. More recently, we set up the mobile testing laboratory in collaboration with Spice Health and ICMR, which is now inaugurated by Honorable Home Minister, and which has a testing capacity of 2,000 tests per day. And now 5 are there in Delhi, in Chhatarpur, Rajouri, Rohini, Dwarka, Azadpur, already functional. We started in the March and April. There was shortage of kits. It was a seller's market. China was telling them for very, very high price, and they're saying, if you don't want to buy, I'll give it to some other country. Gradually, all our science ministries, all our startups started setting up these VTMs, RNA extraction kits, and rapid antibody kits. And at the time in March, the price was 1,150 rupees for RT-PCR kit, 320 rupees for VTM, and 320 for RNA extraction. Today, it is 138 rupees, 91 rupees, and 94 rupees. So total test is around 320 rupees. This has gradually come down with the competition. By more than 1,000 products have been validated, and these have been validated by all our ICMR centers. Most important was this mission Lifeline Udan. During the lockdown, from 24th March to 31st May and 4 phases of the lockdown, the ICMR did not sleep. There was 24/7 Ministry of Civil Aviation, Indian Air Force, Government of India implemented a special mission for 24/7 carrying of consumables, testing commodities, medical supplies to various parts of the countries. Special flights were commissioned even at 2 o'clock in the night for testing commodities in various parts of the country. We have been number 2 in the world in number of testing, and today we have tested more than 15 crore tests. We have had a very calibrated testing strategy. Initially, we were just testing travelers in February, and then in March, April, TrueNat, then we started testing travelers, healthcare, SARI, ILIPA, and pool testing. And in June, we had the antigen testing, then we started doing pre-surgery, hospitalized patients, immunocompromised, and in September, it was testing on demand, and we could get testing done anywhere. We had 20 ICMR depots for seamless distribution, designated 30 QC/QR labs all across the country, which were able to dispatch and suggest dispatch quantities. We had a data entry portal which was looking at disease trends, policy making, resource planning, clinical decision making. All the data of all these 15,000 samples is available with us, and we are looking at various data from that. We have done the capacity assessment, matching procurements, including tendering, ordering, projections, all has been done. And more recently, we have in March, April, we also created the National Task Force, which was informed to the Supreme Court, which was responsible for calibration of testing strategy, advising the government on lockdown containment strategies, develop advisories for discharge policies, oversight on ongoing research, recommend clinical trials, develop clinical management protocols, and we have published 3 issues of the Indian Journal of Medical Research, and the 4th issue is also ongoing, dedicated purely to COVID-19. Hyperimmune globulin, like the ATS, we've developed this by giving the virus to biological events, and this has been able to develop the hyperimmune serum, which we are now going to test in humans. Human monoclonal antibodies were developed by blood samples which were collected by our ICGB, ICMR, and Emory vaccine and DBT, and this has now reached its furthest testing strategy. Convalescent plasma, the largest trial in the world, largest randomized trial. Only 3 randomized trials have really shown benefit in this COVID across the world. One was the dexamethasone trial from the United Kingdom, which showed that steroids work. Second was the Solidarity trial from WHO, which showed that many antivirals, interferon, remdesivir, do not work. And this was the convalescent plasma trial, again from India, which we democratized research, and we did 40 hospitals across the country with 464 patients during the lockdown. And from April 20th to July 20th, we recruited 464 patients, largest, which was published in the British Medical Journal, with 2 editorials and a BMJ opinion clearly showing that convalescent plasma does not work in moderate to severe patients. This was a WHO Solidarity trial. 10% of the patients of this were from India, and that was led by ICMR. We also did genetic evolution, that there is no mutation occurring. Different clades have less than 1% divergence in the genetic front, though, so none of the mutations have culminated to change in the pathogenicity, transmissibility, or the virulence of this virus. We developed the first indigenous ELISA kit, and that was used for the National Serosurvey. The first serosurvey was done during the lockdown in April, May. The second was done in August, September, and the third has just started this week and should be completed by the end of this month. It showed 0.7% prevalence and then 7% prevalence, and they have all been published. We did the sewage serosurveillance of the polio viruses in Mumbai, and demonstrated in the sewage in the month of March, April, we demonstrated this virus was present. In terms of vaccine research and development, the effort started very early in the response to the pandemic. We were the 5th country in the world to isolate the virus, and this virus led to the development of the indigenous vaccine, indigenous ELISA kits, hyperimmunes, Horsira, monoclonals, polyclonals, and also for screening of antivirals. India is a world's major vaccine hub with 19 companies and 24 manufacturing facilities supplying more than 60% of the vaccines to the developing world, and India accounts for 1/4 of the global manufacturing facilities. We have India-invented vaccine, which is the Bharat Biotech, which Indian Council of Medical Research gave the inactivated virus and did most of the studies for them. The Zydus Cadila, which is the DNA vaccine, ICMR and DBT partnered, and the foreign vaccine, which is the Serum Institute, where we did the clinical trial for them, and also the Reddy's Laboratories, Biological E, and the Sputnik. We know that the vaccine development requires preclinical study, preclinical, small animals, large animals, phase 1, phase 2, and before phase 2 or phase 3, we can get emergency use authorization, and many of these companies have now applied for this. For this private-public partnership of ICMR and Bharat Biotech, we have done the animal studies, the mouse, the rabbits, the rats, the monkeys, the hamster studies, and they have been published in Cell and Nature Communication. And the phase 1 is published in Lancet Infectious Diseases. Phase 2 is in Lancet Infectious Diseases under review, and the protocol of phase 3 is in the BMJ. This was the safety study of mice, rabbits, right up to day 28, hamster study right up to day 65, and the most interesting part was the non-human primate study, where we had to do this study on monkeys. We had to capture the monkeys after getting necessary permissions during the lockdown in April, May. We tested those monkeys for any disease, tuberculosis, purchased X-ray machines. Then we challenged those monkeys, gave them the vaccine. Then we challenged those monkeys by bronchoscopy, giving them the virus by bronchoscopy, by trained specialists who were flown from Delhi to Pune to do this work in the BSL-4 laboratory of Pune. And then the bronchoalveolar lavage was collected every day by bronchoscopy, and this has been accepted in Nature Communications as one of the largest study on non-human primates and monkeys, and demonstrated that this vaccine is working. The clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2 have been completed. 104 days of phase 1 is available with no serious adverse effects. On 375 participants, phase 2, 380 participants, no serious adverse effect, and phase 3, 8,000 patients have been recruited, and we have to do 26,000 patients. We also tested the BCG trial in BCG in elderly and showed a good immune response in elderly above the age of 60 to 80 years. We have the world's largest immunization program with 27 newborn vaccinated every year, 30 million pregnancies every year, 100 million vaccinated, with 27,000 vaccine storage facilities, 62% immunization coverage, 650 million doses per year. So we are well prepared for the immunization program with a CoVIN digital platform for vaccine delivery, and we should be able to get, as soon as we get emergency use authorization, start the vaccination of up to 30 crore of our population by the month of June, July. We have had partnerships with the DBT, DST for antiviral screening and for validation of textiles, products, mobile applications, Ayush, testing laboratories, biorepositories, indigenous diagnostics, and we've had the Cabinet Secretary and the empowered groups in the National Task Force work with the state governments, Drug Controller General, National Accreditation Board, Emergency Medical Receipt Fund, NCDC, and the National Information Center, and we have been able to tackle this pandemic, and up till now we hope the positive percentage is less than 3%, 3 to 4% in the country, and hopefully with the efforts of social distancing, usage of masks and hand washing, and the use of these newer techniques and vaccines, we should be able to win this pandemic. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you, sir.